Hi, my name's Tom Bunting, and in this tutorial I'll be demonstrating the core features of the Preservation Assistant component, known as the PA, from the SCIDIP-ES e-infrastructure software suite. The PA is used independently to support the process of populating a registry with representation information. It is used in conjunction with the RepInfo Registry Service component and can be configured to connect to any accessible SCIDIP registry instance. The system uses templates in the form of ontologies or other sources to create dataset preservation projects, each of which contains a series of web forms for completion by a user. So we'll begin by logging into the system using the default admin account. You can find the password for this account in the documentation. Having successfully logged in, we see the main preservation project homepage. This page shows a summary of the current dataset projects in this PA, as well as a form for creating new project based on defined template bundles. We can see two existing preservation projects with a number of items already provided, plus options for selecting, deleting and preserving each one. We begin by selecting the test dataset project, either by clicking its name or the select button. We now see the details page for the test dataset, which displays the main item list based on the template bundle selected when the project was created, with an indication of how many items have been provided for each item type. This list, including all item type names and labels, is generated from the template bundle. It is meant as a guide to data managers and staff, and it's not necessary to provide an item for every single type. If we click Edit Items for the instrument implementation type, we can view the two items that have already been provided. We now see the main Edit Item page containing the form used to add or edit preservation project items, plus features for linking one or more items together within each project via item groups. More on those later. The PA accepts items in one of two ways, either via a file upload or a URL to an existing location on a separate system. When uploading a file, the default maximum size is 10 meg and the file is stored in the local PA database prior to permanent preservation in a registry repository. Whether provided by file upload or URL, the item detail collected in this form is preserved as a RepInfo manifest on a selected SCIDIP-ES registry. If a file is provided for upload, then the digital object is preserved to the selected registry's corresponding repository, and the created manifest's URL will point to that location. We'll see a demonstration of this later when the test project is preserved. The type selection corresponds to the RepInfo labels found on SCIDIP registries that are available to this PA and contains pre-built RepInfo for types such as PDF and Word. By default, RepInfo in the central APA web registry is readable for use by any PA installation with internet access. Depending on the template bundle chosen, when uploading a file it may be possible to provide additional details. These fields are shown at the base of this form. This is only possible when uploading a file, as the information provided has to be zipped with the actual digital object. This is of course not possible when pointing to a separate system. We will now add a third item under Instrument Implementation and create a group to link several items in the test dataset together to form the basis of a RepInfo network. So in this empty form we're going to add a new item. In this case we'll choose to provide a URL. When we select this option, we see that any additional item fields at the base of the form are disabled, as discussed in the previous section. We'll provide a URL to a PDF document on the web. This is just a programming reference guide for one of the Spring libraries. It doesn't matter what it is for the purpose of this demo. We'll also give it a name. Select the correct type and leave the categories unchanged. So now click Save to store the item in the local PA database, and we should now see the item group section appear on the right. We'll go ahead and create a group to link our newly created item with others from the test dataset project. We'll call our new group TestGrill1, just to highlight that this group will be preserved as a RepInfo label on a selected SCIDIP registry. Now that we've created an item group, we can add our new item to it. We can select to add the item as structural, semantic or other RepInfo. We choose semantic, see that our new group is already selected as the only group in the project, and hit save. Now we can see we have a new block of information showing which groups this item has been added to. We can see that we've added it as semantic RepInfo to test rel 1. The second block here on the right shows all items from this dataset that have been added to the currently selected group, and this is key to being able to quickly and easily link items together. If we quickly create a second group, we can see when we change the selection that the system immediately displays any items that have already been added to it. So here's our first group with the item that we added to it. If we change the selection, we can see that no items have been added to this second row. We'll go ahead and quickly add a couple of other items from the project to this group, first group, to demonstrate how we can quickly link any number of items together in different ways within a project. So add this item to the same group. Just add one more. Add this as other RepInfo. So you can now see we have 3 items in test rel 1, 2 items under semantic RepInfo and 1 under other. We now return to the test project homepage, and we can now see that there are 3 items under instrument implementation. Back on the Dataset Preservation Project's homepage, we can now select to preserve our test project. The Preserve Dataset Project homepage contains 2 sections. The first, shown here on the left, allows the user to select a dataset project and a target registry repository to preserve to. The table on the right shows the status of any preservation jobs started previously from this PA. The system checks that it can authenticate with write access to the selected registry, and if it cannot, then the option to supply credentials is shown. This PA instance is only aware of the central APA web registry, so we'll go ahead now and add credentials to allow us to write to that. Once we've entered the credentials and click Save, the system will again attempt to authenticate with write access to the selected registry. This should now succeed. We can now click Start to begin a new preservation job for the test project and monitor its progress using the table on the right. Because preservation jobs occur in background processes, this page should return quickly. We can then check the status in this table and click the Details link to see how this job is progressing item by item. This table will refresh automatically every 5 seconds and is scrollable and paginated for convenience when large numbers of items are being preserved. All being well, we should see the status complete against each item after a short while. The length of time a preservation job takes to complete will depend on factors including the number of items in the project, number and size of files being uploaded, and of course the bandwidth between the server running the PA and the target registry. This looks to have completed successfully, so close the details page and refresh. We can now see that 12 of 12 items have been preserved, so the job is complete. Once an item has been preserved to a registry, we can see the details of the manifest and associated digital object on the item edit page. For example, if we navigate back into our test project and edit the instrument implementation items, we should now see a new section above item groups which tells us what's been preserved and where. Where a file was provided for upload, as with this item, the digital object location will be a URL pointing to an object within the repository associated with the APA registry. In contrast, when a URL is provided to an existing digital object location, It is this address that is shown as demonstrated with the Spring reference guide that we uploaded earlier on. So you see here that the address is the original address of the document on the Spring website. Now that we've seen how to manage, edit and preserve a dataset project using the PA, we'll briefly look at some of the other features provided by the system. As mentioned at the beginning, when creating a dataset project we must choose a template bundle to use. Administrators can add and delete bundles from the system using the template bundle management area accessible via the admin menu option. We can see two existing template bundles and we will quickly demonstrate adding a new one and using it to create a new dataset project. In this case we are going to use another ontology source file based on the structure of the SCIDIP-ES Preserved Dataset Content ontology, but with slightly modified content. Ensure that the appropriate processor is selected, in this case the EDPDSC ontology processor. Choose a file and click Save. Going back to the dataset project's homepage, this new template bundle will now be available to select when creating a new dataset project. We can also delete datasets and all associated items using the delete button. This will prompt you to confirm because it cannot be undone. The final section we'll look at is user management, also available to administrators from the admin menu. The PA has a simple security model with only two different roles, user and admin user. By default, the system ships with two predefined users, one in each role. Depending on business requirements, we can use this page to add and remove users from the system. Here we will add a new user without admin privileges, meaning they won't be able to perform user or template bundle management. Set the role, create. Having created the new user, we can log out and log in with the new account to verify it works as we're expecting. As you can see, there is no admin menu option as this user does not have that privilege. However, they can perform all other dataset operations described in this tutorial, and as with any other user, can opt to change their password at any time by clicking their username and entering the Change Password screen. That concludes the SCIDIP-ES Preservation Assistant tutorial. Thank you for listening.